Hi, and welcome to Learn How to Make Cake Pops. I'm so excited to have you here. I can't wait to go through all the little tips, tricks and techniques to getting you started into making the perfect cake pops. So video one is your equipment list. Being a cake popper myself, one thing that I found that's really important is to be organized. So organization is the key. So if this is something that you want to do into starting a business or adding it to your current business, or you know that you're going to be making a lot of it for family and friends, I highly recommend to get all of the equipment that you need ahead of time, and if you can, keep it in a place in your kitchen, so perhaps a box or a shelf or a drawer, and try and dedicate a little area for cake pops. It just saves you that little bit of time when you're making it, because cake pops are all about timing, and it's just good to be organized. So we'll go through the list of what you need. So obviously first is an electric mixer. This is to make your cake and your buttercream. If you don't have one, a handheld mixer is fine. You also need measuring cups and spoons, because it's really important to keep everything at the right measure. You also need kitchen scales. This is to measure your cake pops so they are the same size every time. I highly recommend it. I know on a lot of tutorials they say that they grab a teaspoon and they'll do 2 scoops, but the problem is with that is if you use that technique, sometimes you might put a bit more cake mix than others. So at least with this way, it's measured at 30-gram balls and you can't go wrong with that. You also need some spatulas just to scrape down your cake mix and your buttercream. You'll need a tea towel if you plan to make your cake ahead of time, just so you can cover it. You'll also need a loaf tin. It's the perfect size for your cake. You'll also need some baking paper or parchment paper. This comes in handy, so you must have this on hand all times. You'll also need a baking tray or a plate. This is what you'll put your cake pops on when you put them into the fridge or freezer. You'll need a wire rack to cool your cake down. You'll need a mixing bowl to mix your cake mixture together. A sifter to sift all your dry ingredients for your cake. You'll need some lollipop sticks. I use 15 centimeters, so 6-inch lollipop sticks, and they're the paper ones as well. So these seem to be a really good size. They're really easy to find and they're really affordable. So these are the way to go. You'll also need some basic butter knife and spoons. You'll need a plastic container. This is to melt your candy melts, and preferably one with a lid, because I'm going to go through a couple of techniques so you can save your candy melts if you haven't used all of them. And you want it to be not too wide, so probably between 12 and 15 centimeters. You want it more deep because you want to be able to put all your cake pop in at the one go, and obviously microwave safe. And you'll also need a styrofoam block or some cake pop blocks. My husband made these. They're just pieces of wood with holes drilled in them. But if you can't get anything like that, a styrofoam little block is more than okay. And optional is your food processor. This is to crumble your cake. If you don't have one, don't stress. It just saves you a bit of time, obviously, if you do have one. I recommend, if you're planning on starting a business in the cake pop world, definitely invest in one, because time is everything when you're making these little treats on a stick. So if you don't have one for now, that's fine. You can crumble your cake by hand. So I will get you to grab all your equipment and I'll see you in video 2.